sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Hang on, we'll send you to this one. Hold on. And I don't know, I cannot, having bad time with this sound again. It was working all fine earlier on. Crazy times, crazy times. Right. So, Are you getting sound now? Is it echoey? As I've just attached my sound to this. So it's a 40-second delay. Sounds good. Right, good. Right, good. Sorry. I have no idea what happened there whatsoever. When it boils down to all, I apologise for that. It was all set up perfectly, and I've just done a quick fix by switching one virtual cable to another. So, yeah, good job that we don't have any videos to play tonight. I tested all this today. I tested it all and it was fine. God damn. Right. So, hi, how are yous? Hope you're good. Amble, ramble. So tell me, did you hear the music of the wonderful intro? I hope you did. And I was going to tell you all about what this was about. Okay, this here is just a warning. It was a bit of fun, really. It's like a prankster, bunch of pranksters that have a Discord, and they jump on small streamer server and they sort of like give a bit of fun spam in the chat, and it boosts their watch time. And it's a wonderful thing. It's funny, but it can be a bit overbearing and quite scary for small streamers. So I just wanted to say, hey, listen, don't worry guys, if it comes on, embrace it, love it. It's not a problem. It is really not going to be a problem. And if you're a member, you'll know straight away that we've got our little private chat as well. I set up that channel in Discord for it all too. But what are we here about tonight? Tonight we are talking about cult behaviours. Okay, we're not talking what is a number? Yes, that number is a typo. Okay, it's a big fat typo because I made that while sitting on the toilet. Okay, there we go. Jay Heath, join us. There you go. You know what I'm talking about, Jay. You know what I'm talking about. Join us. That's exactly what it's all about. And we know who does it as well. All right, because I spoke to him on the phone yesterday. I've got my laptop open down there to watch the chat, so I don't interfere with the stream. So if my head tilts like that, it's because I'm looking at the chat in the real time of me talking stuff. Anyway, cult behaviours. What are cult behaviours? Well, we can talk about proper cults if you really want to, but that's not what it's about tonight. Okay, tonight it's really about cult behaviours, the sort of things that they're not a cult. You're not a cult. Okay, you don't have this religious thing going on, but you might behave a bit like one. And sometimes this can be good, sometimes it can be bad. But let's define what a cult is first of all. Okay, a cult in the dictionary is basically a social group that is defined by its unusual religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs, or by its common interest in a particular personality, object, or goal. And the behaviours that we're going to look at in particular tonight are basically around the personalities. I can't really find any sort of like fun, harmless cult type things going on that's based around an object, unless it's a joke. A goal might be, I don't know, I can't even think of a goal, but it's the personality thing that I'm looking at just now, which is kind of the most important thing to me, because that's where dangers can lie, and that's where negative things can lie, and also it can also collectively be a very positive thing, like the join us stuff, what we're joining stuff about. I am particularly talking about like things like Beatlemania in the 60s. That was like a big crazy, it wasn't a cult, but it was around a personality, or the personality of the Beatles. And to show you what that was actually like, let me see if I can find it. I've got it here. Let me just bring it up. I'll just play it in the background just now. Basically, Beatlemania was something absolutely insane in the 1960s. Looking at this footage here just now, people are going mental for the Beatles arriving in America, coming back from America, all these people watching, you know, there's the boys there, giving it all big waves and things. Now, they're not asking people to do anything. They're not doing anything crazy about anything at all. But, you know, they're just 4 harmless musician boys out there look at them all, ah, Jumbo Rinkers, blah, 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 going mental. You know, it's crazy. Beatlemania engulfed the world. And when the Beatles broke up, look at them, look at the police. Look at them. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And you know, the boys are loving it to a certain extent, but it's kind of frightening. It's kind of totally frightening to think that we live in a world where those sort of things can happen, you know. But no, we are not going to specifically target anything at all. We're talking about behaviours, okay? We're talking the only sort of other sort of area that I'm looking at with regards to this is actually Lucy. Is it Lucy? Not Lucy Liu. I can't remember her name. Susie Liu, because that's the only one that she's not a cult, you know, but her followers, her members, you know, went out and, you know, spammed the crap out of other YouTubers and hurt the other YouTubers from doing that, you know, and I think that's wrong. I think that's totally wrong. So yeah, let's go and have another look at one other thing. So to begin with, I want to show you how harmless some cults can actually sound like when they start off, when they approach you. And this is actually from a real cult. This is a bit of video from a guy called David Berg, Children of God. And the Children of God were a prolific cult, and quite scary as well, because they took the 10 Commandments and they whittled it down to just one, which kind of said, you know, love thy neighbour, love, and love. And love was kind of the most important thing to them. And his whole attitude was, well, if you just have love, why do you need the other ones? Because that kind of pulls all the other ones in together. So love, and a love cult like this was an amazing thing, and people were like, yeah, that makes total sense. So I have a video. I hope the goddamn sound works. My technical man, 30 miles away, if the sound doesn't come out on this video, please text me straight away. Okay, and let's bring this up just now, and we'll move into it and give it a wee play.
He said, Jesus himself said, the Son of God, in this law, he said, dwelleth all the law and all the prophets, all fulfilled in this one law. Just this one law of love fulfills all 10 and all the rest put together. So we don't need them anymore. We're no longer under the laws of Moses. We're no longer under the 10 Commandments. We're no longer under all that religious folderol and rigmarole and form and ceremony and temple worship. All you have to worship God today is your own heart.
Crazy. Now, you could believe that love would be a great thing to come in, but David Berg, he had like hundreds of houses around America, little cult centres, and the Children of God, it was like you were part of the family, and when I say the family, I mean the family, and your children were at risk, the young ladies were at risk in this place, and you know, it was like, well, you know, we follow this love thing so we can have love with everybody, you know. And that guy was crazy. That whole thing really is quite frightening, but that is a proper cult. But I wanted to demonstrate right there and then that what we have just now is we're not going to talk about proper cults. We're going to talk about cult behaviour. And that is what we're all about. So again, in modern English, a cult is a social group that is defined by its unusual religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs. And what we are going to home in on is the common interest in a particular personality, object, or goal. Particular personalities. Okay, so we're not talking about like the dangerous side, but we are talking about the dangerous side. So we're talking about the different sort of behaviours that you might find in a collective group of people. That is, I don't like the word cult. Okay, I think cult is a bit too harsh because it gives that sort of like negative connotation. Because like the guys that would be doing like join us that we were talking about there, that I can't remember what they were called, they're having a bit of fun, and they're actually bringing something positive to everything that is that small YouTuber. It's like, oh my god, he usually has like 4 or 5 viewers, and then he's like got 50, 60 viewers, and it's like, whoa, I don't know what to do, and it can be a bit overwhelming for some of them, but at the same time it can be quite good fun if you're sort of like prepared for it. So let's look at modern collectives. Let's look at me, for instance, right? I consider myself to be reasonably articulate. Yeah, that was a bit ironic. Okay, a reasonably articulate and reasonably charming, well-mannered gentleman. All right. So, could I convince you to be a subscriber to me, and then, in the future, go and ask you to go and attack other subscribers? Maybe I could, but would I ever do that? Me personally, I would never ever do that. Okay, that is not in my nature. However, okay, what I believe in is critical thinking. If you watch the morning shows, I'm a firm believer in critical thinking outside the box and doing things. Some people don't. So one of the first things that you find after you've been charmed and, almost sort of gaslit into coming in, we'll talk about gaslighting within cults as well in this tonight's episode, but most of the time you will find once you're in that close collective, they shun critical thinking. If you're not thinking the way that they want you to think, okay, then you can totally be ostracized. You can be sort of like verbally bashed. They're not going to physically do anything. It's on the internet, right? But it's my way or the highway. It's the sort of like the ultimatums of the Sith. Either you're with me or against me, okay? And the personality that is based around this, okay, especially when it gets very big and you're talking in the 500,000 to like millions of subscribers or millions of followers on Instagram or Facebook, or that sort of personality thing. Look at the Beatles, like we just looked at the Beatles, right? Okay, there was millions of people around the world that were devastated when they split up, and there was people seeing psychologists from it. So when you look at the opposition of critical thinking in the collective of the Beatles side of it all right, they weren't asking you to stop critically thinking, but people kind of stopped doing it anyway because they were just totally enamored by this pop star personality of them all, and they wanted to be part of this group. You saw it at the airport, they're banging on things, they want to get close to them. That's the dangerous side, very dangerous, right? So critical thinking, okay, if you have critical thinking removed, if you can't criticize your leader constructively, if you can't say to the personality, like for instance me, okay, like tonight, what is somebody picked up, it was Draxon picked up on my typo, alright, on there. Now some people might have jumped in and defended their great leader. Oh no, he's dyslexic, that's terrible, fancy you doing that. No, don't tell me my spelling's wrong, please. Okay, tell me my spelling's wrong. All right, that is critical thinking. So Drax there did critical thinking, picking it up. Now in a bigger collective, let's say in a bigger personality, and we're like I say, we're talking in the millions. We're not talking less than 100,000. We're just talking in the millions. We're talking a lot of people. All right. Some of the people that are totally enamored by that personality, who don't have that critical thinking, would attack that other member, that other follower, verbally or putting down. And that's the next sort of behaviour. They would isolate members for not following the path, not following the rules of that particular collective. Okay, and they would penalise them for such things. Like they would really make them feel awkward. And in some cases, okay, in modern day cults as well, if we take the religious part for it all again, right, you might find that if you left a particular organisation, you might be chased down, you might be hounded down, and bombarded with hate, threats of violence, constant phone calls, and making up lies to destroy your character. All right, this is where it becomes more dangerous, right? Where if you take the Susie Lou thing, how a lot of her followers bombarded the people that were criticising her with complaints. So their channels were pulled or their videos were pulled and things like that. That's really not on. Some people might turn around and say, well, that's the way that the world works on the internet. And you know what? That's fine. You can't stop that from happening. But that's the collective behaviour that I'm talking about that is kind of immoral. And if it's encouraged, that means the person encouraging it is immoral also. So when members are isolated and chased down, okay, that's when fear comes into it all. And fear can be a very dangerous thing, especially when you're on you're feeling fear, and you've left a collective. Okay, you've left a collective, you've enjoyed the time there, and it's time to move on. And you just don't want to do it. You just don't want to have any more hassle or anything like that. But you might end up getting bombarded or chased down, or lies, threats. It's the kind of the lies of it all. All right. And even before you leave, you might find that there's this thing called gaslighting, going on. Yeah. Okay. Why? I don't care about that just now. No. My stream stopped on... Oh, there we go. We've got that coming back. I don't care. Sorry, my laptop's speaking to me just now. You can't hear it, but it's doing stuff. Don't care. Don't care. Great. Right. Excellent. Oh, we got there? Okay. That's good. Sorry. A lot of the time as well, to bring you into the collective, you'll be charmed, and you might even be, when you start to criticise, there's this thing called gaslighting and the manipulation of gaslighting. So I want to talk about gaslighting as a whole just now. And a lot of the time, you'll find that gaslighters within collectives, the most common thing is lies. It's lies about what they're doing as a collective or as the personality, okay? Or it's lies about you or the direction that they're going in. And they often, if you become critical of them, there's always a reason. Like, they will deny ever saying something. Okay, so you start to question it, and then the collective also turns round and denies that they've said it. Okay, so you start to question yourself, and you become more malleable within your own personality, and you might just stay there because you're thinking, well, maybe I should just stay here. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm going a bit crazy. So you become more susceptible to suggestions of doing things that not so much within the internet. Not like David Berg and the way that he was having sex with children and things. Okay, we're talking more sort of like the Susie Lou sort of like, oh, I can't believe that so and so is basically criticising me. Oh, really? They're criticising you? Well, we'll see about that, because you feel that you want to go and help Susie Lou with that personality. Your love for Susie Lou is based around her personality. And I'm only using Susie Lou because of things going on. I'm not saying that she actually said go out and do that. All right, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the collective around her went out and did it. Now, if she did go and say that, then, well, obviously she's completely wrong. Okay, they also like to use what is close to you as ammunition. So for instance, they might turn round in this collective and turn round and say, you've got this incredible thing going on the internet, I'm going to destroy it. And if you're close to it, you might not want to do it. They might sort of turn around and say, if it gets really bad, they might say, I'll find out where you live, and start making scary threats, physical threats. There are laws against such things, right? They might not come under like the internet laws, but we're actually going to do a piece in the next few weeks as well about online harassment and internet bullying, okay? And we'll talk about that at the end of tonight. So for instance, your kids might be one of the first things that they start talking about. We can find out where your kids are at school and stuff like that. We don't want to hear things like that. And all this threatening and the gaslighting, manipulation of you questioning your own, did they say that or didn't they say that, it wears you down over time. And you just become one of the sheep. You become one of the people that will follow what's going on. And these behaviours are all part when you're in the collective, in the sort of cult situation. And I'm trying to avoid using the word cult, okay? Because this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the collective group of personalities around one personality or several personalities that work together. One of the biggest things when they're doing, when you find somebody that's gaslighting and trying to force you into just sort of like staying within the organisation, or pushing you out to go and do things that you might find morally questionable, right, is that they will always, their actions will never match their words. So publicly they might be really cool, all right, and everything like that, but behind the scenes they might not be as much. And I don't know what's going on with Susie Liu or other internet personalities in her sphere. I mean, we're talking Radio Apocalypse, way up there with the world of the YouTube gods is Susie Liu, right? I'm not competing with that, and I'm not looking for clout or anything. I'm using her because everybody knows who she is, and there was some questionable behaviours from the collective. And listen, Susie Liu fans, I'm just saying what I've seen, alright? Okay? I'm waiting for 10,000 dislikes to come up on my thing as a result of that. Also, the one of the most incredible things is we've talked about all the negative behaviours, like first of all, you're charmed in, that's a positive behaviour. You like what's going on, then you might start to criticise or become a bit critical of what's going on, and then you get hammered down. You might want to move into a different sphere within it, and you're like, no, you're not allowed to, because there's still like a bit of a hierarchy within the subculture of this. But you've been you've been pushed and shoved, and you've been manipulated, and now your ego is stroked. They will put in a bit of positive reinforcement, like, hey, listen, you've done all this for me, okay? I really, really appreciate it. You don't need to do anything for a few days, alright? It's all good. It's just all good. Don't worry about it, alright? It's fine. I appreciate you in ways that you wouldn't ever imagine, okay? This confusion of like, but you were shouting at me on the internet the other day there, you were shouting at people, but now you're really nice. I don't understand this. And it's kind of scary when things like that happen. I mean, it really, really is. That weakness is where they can take advantage of it, and around the sort of like this collective sort of behaviour, this negative toxic behaviour, it's core to a sort of a narcissist sort of feeling, narcissist sort of behaviour. And this is why, again, 2 weeks ago, we started off with toxic behaviours within people, because it's the foundation pretty much of everything negative. So you've got all these toxic behaviours, and then they can be boiled down to pretty much just being a narcissist, the necessity of having your ego stroked and feeling that it's your self-indulgent self-importance, that you are better than everybody else, that you have a sense of entitlement. And that is also something that is called the God complex, and we're going to finish up with that in a second or two. All right? Okay. Sorry, my son's on the sofa there, and he just let an air biscuit float, and it smells. I could hear it. I hope you didn't hear it down the microphone at all, because it was kind of loud. Whoa, hold on. And a message from my son in his bedroom saying, "Good night, Dad." Good night, son. Okay, family stuff. There we go. Let's have a quick look at the chat to see who's here tonight anyway. So I'm just turning down to look at my laptop. I am not ignoring you in that camera. Right, so hey, there's Jay. How you doing, sir? Jason. Nyla's in the house. Nyla. Truth always wins. Who's that? I hope you're okay. Truth always wins. Never seen you before. Draxon. Welcome, Draxon. Locals always in the house. Who else we got? Equilibrium, I think I said hello. We said hello to Barry as well. Who else do we have? I saw Jay earlier on as well. Barry was there. Yes, there we go. Morgan Riley, thank you for joining us tonight. It's good to have you, which is cool. Let's have a quick look. Morgan's saying Stephen Hassan actually created a model to determine whether something is a cult. It's called the Bite model. That's interesting. I will go and have a look at that after the show, because there's lots of things I would like to factor in to have a wee look at stuff like that. What else do we have here? Hang on. Why aren't you going? There we go. Jay, I did see you there. Hi, Jay. I knew you were in there. And Drax also criticising me on my spelling. That's how far up the chat I've gone. I don't mind. Listen, I have no problems in people turning round and telling me that I've spelled something wrong. If I spell something wrong, okay, how am I supposed to, you know, if it's a typo, I use my phone to make things. This is no excuse, by the way. And if I miss something and I'm in a bit of a rush, it happens. People are only human, okay? And I quite like having a little bit of criticism about stuff. I think it's kind of important that we actually have criticism. And yeah, so that's important. That is definitely important for me. So don't be afraid to turn around. I had a great thing today. I'm just having a break from going on to it, okay? So what was I saying? Yes, so I'm just having a break from the actual show part to talk about this, but it's the critical thinking thing. I had a great comment on my show this morning when we were using Streamlabs for the first time this morning. I'm on it, and I couldn't get the sound to work through the phone from everything, and it was basically very positive, constructive feedback from somebody, and I gave constructive, positive feedback back, and I like things like that. I'm always a believer in that. If you receive positive feedback, both positive, well, you've received feedback in a critical form, or a negative form, or a positive form, that it's always good. If somebody's just spamming you and saying, "Yeah, you're shit, you know, you're crap," and all the rest of it, you've got terrible glasses, and look, your headphones are wonky, and all the rest of it, that's just silly. You know, that's not even criticism, that's just nonsense. So I don't worry about things like that. I don't worry about thumbs up or thumbs down either for this. I don't have that ego that needs to be stroked for it all. But let's go back to what we were talking about. Right. The God complex. Right. This is really, really important when it comes down to everything. Right. So a God complex. This is straight out of Wikipedia. And it's important that you get this, because this is the personality thing that that a lot of these subcultures base themselves around. All right. So a God complex is an unshakable belief characterized by consistently inflated feelings of personal ability, privilege, or infallibility. Okay. So basically, they're saying that they can do superhuman things, they do amazing things, okay, and they're entitled to do what they want, to feel they're privileged. They can have more than they're entitled to, because of this complex, this not inferiority, this super inflated ego thing going on. And then infallibility, that is their ability to do no wrong. They can't be criticised. They can't be criticised because they are right. They are right. It's their way or the highway. And this is dangerous. Okay? A person with a God complex may refuse to admit the possibility of their error or their failure, even in the face of irrefutable evidence. Okay? Irretractable problems or difficult or impossible tasks. This is all from Wikipedia as well. The person is also highly dogmatic in their views, meaning the person speaks of their personal opinions as though it was unquestionably correct. Someone with a God complex may exhibit no regard for the conventions and demands of society and may request special considerations and privileges. Now, if you were to put that into the context of Susie Liu, all right, she set up her own website in part of the world that doesn't have any copyright laws. Okay, so that's where she's doing things. But unfortunately, she lives in the UK, where there are copyright laws. So the question remains is, okay, she's going out of her way she's got no regard for the conventions of society and those rules and laws, so she's gone out of her way to deliberately set something up. Now, she might think that's clever. I have to do this. This is the way I'm doing it, okay? However, she's still bound by UK laws. So the one thing I've not found is if she uses that website, okay, to promote herself and to do things, even though it is housed in a country where there are no copyright laws, if she's sort of like doing it from the UK, I'm pretty sure she's still bound by UK laws. I don't think this is a grey area. I think it's just a straightforward matter of you're doing it in somewhere in Scotland or somewhere in England, and it's there for it to happen. You know, so yeah, it's a bit crazy to think that is the case. And the God complex part of it all is the personality. That is the core part. So let us quickly go through this in a little bit of a bullet point thing. Cult behaviours within sort of internet subcultures. You find your niche, you find the thing that you're interested in, you find the crusade, you find the entertainment, you find the personality that you enjoy. I'm going to give you an example of me, all right? And you might think that I am batshit crazy for this, but before this personality went batshit crazy, he was actually a reasonable commentator, okay? And you're going to laugh, okay? You please don't hold this against me. I quite liked the work of Alex Jones, all right, when sort of like just before 9/11 happened, and then the documentaries he helped put together that helped to put critical thinking against the normal paradigm that was accepted, all right? I quite liked that. Then he went batshit crazy, all right? So that wasn't for me because, you know, that was a case. I was active on his Facebook, his forums, his own website, Prison Planet, and things like that. I even subscribed to him for 6 months because I felt that he was doing quite good work for critical thinking. So I was actually in that collective, not so much in awe. But as soon as I looked at him, I mean, I was typing away and speaking to people all over the world that enjoyed Alex Jones, all right? And as soon as I kind of like disappeared from it all, this is when he started to get very, you know, pretty much criticised and everything. I thought, I'm not, you know, you're a wee bit extreme for me now, Alex. You know, it's like, it's not for me. And I got some pretty shit emails about, you know, why aren't you active anymore? Why aren't you here? Are you one of them now? Are you one of the man? You know, just the opposite sort of thing, you know, of the message that he was giving out. It was a lot of like bullshit hate. I just ignored them because I can make my own decision to you know, to email them back or not, or to do anything like that. But it wasn't like crazy threats or anything. It was just bullshit. It was just like, oh fuck off, can't be bothered with you. All right, that's what I was like. So I got involved with that because I liked it. This is where we're starting off with, okay? And with this, I liked that. I found my niche. Okay, let's say that I stuck with that though, and with with the close knit group of, like, God, he had, like, I think it was 300,000 or 400,000 people on his website, and in his sort of like the forums. I can't even remember what he used for his forums, but wow, some of the conversations that you would have, and some of the people that were talking in there, they were really sucked into the world of Alex Jones, really sucked in. And I can only imagine after he kind of like sunk, what really happened with these people. I'm glad I wasn't really part of that at the time, because I think that would have been quite a different sort of situation if I left. But I left sort of like commenting well before it really went bad for him. But let's say I was still involved with that, and started to be critical of him, saying, wait a minute, the vitamins you're selling don't have any nutritional value, Alex. Why are you selling them? Oh, you can't say that. That's Alex's vitamins. You're just one of them. You're just one of them doing the terrible things that terrible people do when they criticise. And I could have been bombarded with it, that thing. And it would be like, no, but wait a minute. It says, no, look, we've got all these reports that say these vitamins are great. The government scientists are talking shit. So there's that gaslighting thing. I'm starting to question what I've done. I'm starting to be singled out. Because I'm a troublemaker within the organisation, and people are shouting at me. The leaders of the collective are shouting at me. They're starting to see that I might be a threat to the continuity, the status quo of what is going on. It's a bit crazy. So it's my way or the highway. It's that sort of like that scene in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin turns around and says to Obi-Wan, just before they start to fight, you're with me or you're against me. It's kind of that thing going on. I may have ended up being shunned and pushed to the side, or basically have my authority within certain forum threads limited, okay? Because these are all actual things that happen, in various different sort of chat rooms and things. If it's got a structure, you might not be allowed to sort of like see the secret tiers of other forums and stuff like that, other chat rooms that, for as you become closer to the people at the top, you get the sort of like the next level of sort of like connection to the personality that you're trying to do. But then you're kind of you're given that the feeling that you have of being part of the collective kind of outweighs the negative sort of behaviours completely. But God help you if you try to leave it, and if you did try to leave it, expected to be chased down like myself. I wasn't chased down, I wasn't hounded, okay? And they didn't have my phone number, so I wasn't getting phone calls, but I must say, about 30 or 40 emails in the space of like, a week and a half from the sort of core people that I hung out with, which were reasonably well voiced within that particular collective. But like I say, I just ignored them because I wasn't interested at all in anything to do with it anymore. Yes, so that is my feelings about it all. There is no good thing or bad thing as a result of this. What you have to remember is, if you are part of a collective on the internet, alright, if you're part of a following and you become critical of the person, you can voice your opinions. You're allowed to voice your opinions. These are just people. Now, these people, the personality, they may have their own issues. They might have that God complex thing going on. So they're like, why are you saying that sort of thing? How dare you? And then that's when the close-knit ones surround and they come in, and it's not so much attacking, but it's like, you can't do that. We're going to remove you from the situation just now. Just stay over there. Alright? Don't do anything else at all. Just sit there. And then you become critical again, you decide you're going to leave, and then you're hounded. Alright? You've got to remember, it's a digital world. There are dangers, serious dangers in the internet world, in the digital world. I don't understand half of them with what's going on with regards to internet security at all. I could be, leaving myself wide open on a back door for something. I don't know. All right. I tend to keep, changing my passwords. I tend to, I don't use email on my computers at all. My email's usually just, used, I very rarely use it, to be perfectly honest. I use WhatsApp for most of my communications. I use a bit of Discord as well, but the point I'm trying to make is here that clever people in the digital world could make your life a misery if you're part of a collective. So you just have to be careful and protect yourselves, okay, from that sort of negative behaviour. And I'm sure that there'll be some clever people that will watch this or be watching back that might be able to provide help or links or anything like that. And if you do have anything like that, you can get in touch with me on radioapocalypse.live/Instagram. That will take you to my Instagram account, and you can send me a link there that I'd be quite happy to post up on the details of tonight's show. But it is important, absolutely vital, that it's about you, okay? It's about you. If you decide that something's not for you, like for instance, it's your choice, okay? That's what capitalism is about. You can choose whether it's McDonald's or Burger King, whether it's Susie Lou or the Quartering, whether it's BBC or ITV in the UK, whether it's CNN or NBC, all right? You're allowed to change your friggin' mind, okay, about something. Doesn't mean you're not going to watch what that person does anymore. I don't even subscribe to Susie Lou, all right? But I quite like watching her bullshit sometimes. It's kind of like, silly wee lassie, but that's a bit. And then when you look at, I like quite looking back and looking at the craziness of Beatlemania, that's something that's special. But the long and short of it is that the behaviours of it are, to begin with, are very passive and charming, and you feel secure, you feel that you're part of something, you feel good about it all. Then something questionable happens, you might criticise, and then it all goes downhill from there. The aftermath of you leaving is the dangerous point, especially if you've experienced behaviours which conflict with what your behaviours and your values are, alright? And that is where it can be dangerous, because if the God complex comes in and it feels infallible about the situation, all right, they won't accept criticism, and they won't accept you leaving either, and they will want to destroy that character of yours as well in the result of it all. Okay, and I can honestly say that when you look at the criticism that Susie Lou's actually received from other YouTubers, and then what's happened with them, you can see that in effect working. I don't think that your cult behaviours, alright, really stem, the cult behaviours don't really stem in smaller groups as much. They can do, okay, because that's where it all starts. It always starts with one person and then two people, and then it grows, alright? But it becomes more dangerous when the God complex has a flock, a range of, followers and things like that. So that is what it's all about in that sense. It's difficult to say what people feel like afterwards in this, because like I say, the only thing I've ever felt was straight up like, why are they sending me emails with the Alex Jones thing, right? I guess people might actually feel fear. They might feel a sense of dread, that horrible pit in their stomach, after they've left a collective, of what are they going to do? What sort of horrible things could happen to me? And why would any human being do that to people, I feel sorry for them. You know, it's not like you've got like, you're not like you're David Berg and you've got like thousands of cult complexes all over the country, you know. You're not like David Berg having that universal love thing and everybody shares each other's partners and has sex with each other's children. You know, we're not talking about that. We're talking about just people that, you know, like Susie Lou gets a wee bit up her own arse. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for her. I do. But I can't be bothered with it. This is the whole thing. The whole point of tonight is to say, look, there's people in the world that suffer greatly from this, okay? From this, the honest cult stuff, okay, the real cult stuff, people that have survived the dangers, the real dangers of cults, and I get that, okay? And then you've got the collective thing, which is kind of like culty, but it's not really a cult, okay? And it's just that their behaviours are similar. And if those behaviours go beyond a certain a line, there's that line in the sand of what's acceptable. If it becomes unacceptable, then that's wrong. It is absolutely wrong. Okay, and I hate to say this, okay, that goes for people that leave the collectives as well, right? People that leave the collectives, if they end up just hating on something that they've left and constantly criticising it. Let's say there was nothing happening there, but they just left because it was a conflict of like, well, you're saying the sky's blue, I know that it's actually red. We're talking simple things, and they just hate on the person, then that's wrong as well. It's that negative toxic behaviour. But we're not talking about the collective being wrong here, being correct here. We're talking about when the collective behaves badly and you leave. Understand though, and this is really important, that there are good people in the world, and people should be allowed and will be allowed to move on to beautiful new pastures. You know, if I left my job where I work, right, and I went to work for a similar sort of organisation, like, so I work in a different superstore for a different company, am I going to be allowed to continue shopping where I worked before? Or are they going to say no? Well, I suppose it depends on the situation. If I got fired, then no. But if I just left and end up working somewhere else that's working in competition with that, I'm going to be allowed to go in. Okay, I'm going to be allowed to go in there and still shop. Okay? Unless I go around talking shit, saying that they're terrible, all the rest of it gets back to them and say, look, you're talking shit about us, we don't want you to come in. And that's it in a nutshell for that. That's that behaviour. But we have to remember, and this is the most important thing, that if you come across a situation with a God complex, if you come across a situation where there's gaslighting going on within a collective, walk away from it as soon as you possibly can. Because if you don't, you could be in for a whole lot of hurt. I hope you've had fun tonight. I'm going to put some music on now because and have a little drinky because I've talked for about 50 minutes non-stop. We'll have a little look in the chat and let's get some. Where is there? Is there? We will do. Where is there? That's the one there. And let's play a bit of music. Is that going to play? There we go. But we'll keep it nice and low. I'm quite into my Oriental music just now. You have to tell me if this is too loud, okay? Yes, local. That has been 50 minutes already. I started the stream at 10:30, and I kind of started speaking just after 10:30. So it's a wee bit longer than 50 minutes. I can talk shit, by the way, for hours. I'm good at it. Okay, good at it. Right, let's have a quick look. Nyla says, speaking from personal experience, it is devastating and shattering and makes you ashamed. Yes. I think the shaming of it all, feeling ashamed for leaving it and for also believing in it, is something that is taken for granted in the world. I don't know how deprogrammers work for the big cults. It'd be interesting to speak to them. But do you know what? I'm in awe and admire people that have been in proper cults and have survived them, and have got through that and live relatively normal lives. It's something that hold on. Oh, thanks, Barry. Bear in mind there's a 40-second delay from when I speak here just now, okay, and it comes up and you react to it in the chat. It's probably a little bit more as well, but I'm really disappointed that we didn't get a visit from the Join Us folk. Really disappointed. I was going to say, yes, we will join you, you know. Okay, so let's do a couple of other little sound checks. I know just now that my sound, if I do this, you're not going to be able to hear me, because I've got my voice coming through 2 channels just now, which is not good. So I'll need to figure out why that stopped working. So I wonder if it was because I put it in that channel there. No, see, that one's right, and then that one goes to my headphones. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Right, anyway. Let's talk about this weekend, tomorrow, and also Friday. Friday we do not have a dance party going on, unfortunately. We have no dance party whatsoever. But we will have open mic night, so if anybody wants to come on, get in contact through radioapocalypse.live/Instagram if you're not a member of our Discord. And you can hear me now, right? Good. Ah, crap, he's back. So yeah, I know what I did there. I know exactly why that channel's not working, and I can fix it afterwards, which is good. Thank you, Barry. Ah, crap, he's back. Welcome back, mate. So that was just me checking. I know what's wrong with it, which is good. So this weekend we have Watch Party Weekend, which is going to be the trilogy of Back to the Future. I will be making the flyer for that and sticking it up and creating the stream in advance for Monday. So if you've not watched Back to the Future, go and watch Back to the Future over the next few days, and join us on Monday at 10:30 as myself and the panel will tear it to pieces and love it or hate it. Tomorrow night we're doing the Covid Chronicles, which is basically just updating you on all the lovely news around the virus, how we're beginning to break the lockdown and move forward with it. We're also back in the morning as well, tomorrow and Friday at 6:30 for the early show with porridge, papers and poetry, which will be good fun. Great fun tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I can be a bit coherent in times and sometimes repeat myself a little bit, but the message is clear. Just be aware of fan bases, of massive personalities, whether it be television, music, whatever. It can become a bit dangerous, and you don't ever want to have things being too dangerous. I am going to go and hang out in Discord just now and see if I can get the sound working there okay. It should be okay. And I've not uploaded my outro yet. Oh, wait, I've not uploaded my outro yet, unfortunately, for doing this. So what we will do is, shall we stick that flyer back on? No, we won't. We'll just leave this just now as it is. And maybe, I don't know. I don't have anything for an outro. I'm sorry. I'm rubbish. So we'll just play a little bit louder Japanese music for a couple of minutes. Why is that not working? Hold on. Oh, it's working. It's just that my sound cable's down on my headphones. Been good fun. Members in Discord, tell me what you think of what I've done with the night sky and things. And just so you can see as well, I have got the StreamYard part set up in such a way as well. So when Barry comes on, alright, he's got his own little bit there. Check this out. Barry will appear in that bottom window. Woohoo! And when the panel comes in, the panel will also appear in that bottom window like that. And I'll have a big thing saying the panel, which is great. So we're all organised. We've got lovely things to make this stream work well. And we will evolve it as we go along, and that's just because of you guys. So thank you very much for watching, and be kind to each other, be good to each other, and go and create something beautiful. There's a great thing that I'm doing just now that has a tagline called Create Hope. I want you to think about that just now. Create hope, because that's quite important.